Today is the day of AI crypto tokens. SingularityNet, Fetch.AI and Ocean Protocol are all going up massively. They're all outperforming the rest of the market. In this video, we're going to make a comparison of those three cryptocurrencies. We're going to look at the buyers and sellers. We're going to look at relative valuation charts. And we're going to look at tokenomics. We're going to look at the data most people are not considering. So here's the performance today. This is SingularityNet. Agix is up 21% today. Fetch.AI is up 24% today. And Ocean Protocol is up 20% today. Now have a look at the 1-year charts of those three assets. They all look very similar as well. There is a lot of correlation between those three assets. And this rally today can simply just be seen as a bounce back from a very painful, massive decline. And so it's really the correlation between AI crypto tokens. It's not the correlation between Bitcoin and all those tokens. Because again, we've seen a massive pump and then subsequent dump in AI. We have seen a pump in Bitcoin as well, but the dump hasn't really happened that much. Let's have a look at tokenomics. Let's have a look at how much the supply is expanding over time. Because in order to figure out where the price might go, we have to see how much is the supply developing. Price is a function of demand versus supply. Here's the supply of Agix, so of the SingularityNet token over time. It's currently at 1.4 billion. It will grow to 1.5 billion 1 year from now. The growth rate is roughly 6.5% per annum. Not so bad. Here is the supply growth of Fetch.AI. We've already seen most of the unlocks. We are currently at 1.1 billion and we will hit out the max in February of next year, a growth of roughly 2 to 3%. For Ocean Protocol, the data is a bit skewed. We don't really know what's going on. Here is Singularity.io, where there's sometimes revived supply and then destroyed supply again. We also have CryptoRank.io that has a lot of the supply in network rewards. The supply chart only goes up until 2021. So I don't really have a clear answer whether or not the supply will expand for Ocean Protocol. It will not expand that much for SingularityNet and for Fetch.AI. So the supply side is no problem for those two tokens. For Ocean Protocol, I don't know. Let's have a look at relative valuation charts, because I always think we should get outperformance versus Bitcoin and Ethereum when getting into something that tends to be more risky, right? Altcoins are smaller in market cap. Altcoins have less holders. Altcoins tend to fluctuate more. And so over the long term, over the years, we should get outperformance versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why else get into an altcoin? And so here we go. This is Agix relative to Ethereum. So this is now the SingularityNet price over time. And because of the initial token inflation, we actually underperformed Ethereum by roughly 30%. Here is Fetch.AI, which also underperformed Ethereum quite a bit. It's Fetch.AI relative to Ethereum, right? We are not looking just at the US dollar prices. The underperformance here was 84%, but we tend to be outperforming a little bit since the middle of 2022. Again, tokenomics look okay. A lot of that underperformance was probably because of this massive supply increase. Let's have a look at Ocean Protocol. This also underperformed Ethereum. Here we're looking at 27%, but this is why I like those relative valuation charts so much. When we just look at US dollar valuations, we don't really know where the price might go because the overall market might go up and down. And that does have influence on the smaller cryptocurrencies. But when we look at relative valuations, we do take away a lot of the general ups and downs of the market. If we just consider this as a stable trading range, then the potential risk of Ocean Protocol relative to Ethereum is a loss of 42%. The potential gain is maybe 70%, in the best case 125%, something like this. Since we're already plotting relative valuation charts, why not have some fun with it? Why not plot relative valuation charts across those different AI tokens? Here we've got Agix, so SingularityNet, relative to Ocean Protocol. There's very little volatility actually in the last months. Those two assets move pretty perfectly in sync, which isn't really a surprise when we just look at those two price charts, right? But there's an even more interesting chart, and that's Agix relative to Fetch.AI. That's this one over here. SingularityNet underperformed Fetch.AI pretty constantly by quite a lot. This is a loss of 58%. And again, in the last weeks and months, we see massive correlation, very tight coupling of the prices. Or in other words, there's very little diversification benefit by owning all of those assets. Simply just buying one of them should be good enough. But I'm actually not so sure if it even makes sense to buy any of them. Let's have a look at some on-chain statistics. Let's see if the number of investors is growing over time. Because if it is, that would of course be good for a price. Whenever there's more people jumping onto a project, the price tends to rise. And of course, vice versa. If the number of investors is shrinking, that's not necessarily that great long term. Here is SingularityNet on Ethereum over time, the number of holders. On the left side, we've got the number of wallets that have at least $1,000 worth of the token. In the middle, $10,000, and on the right, $100,000. So the number of retail investors tends to shrink, the number of medium-sized retail also. The number of whales isn't really changing that much. That's again for SingularityNet. Here we've got the same for Fetch.AI, very similar movements, with the difference that also the number of whales tends to be shrinking. Again, those are just 1 month charts. Here's Ocean Protocol, same story. The development of the number of whales isn't that clear, but definitely the number of retail investors and medium-sized holders on-chain is going down. And that's then of course what also causes those price charts to go down, right? This is the last month for all of those 3 assets. Times in crypto are really getting tough. It becomes a player versus player game because there is not more fiat currency getting deployed. The stablecoin market cap is flat since April of this year. There is no more fiat entering the centralized exchanges in net that could then push up various coins. Here is the others dominance. So the fraction of all of crypto that's in the lower market cap coins, in the coins that are below the top 10. And we can see that this did not rise since 2017. So in the last 8 years, you did not get any outperformance versus Bitcoin and Ethereum with altcoins. You took on more risk, but you did not necessarily gain more. And this is, unfortunately, in the last few days, getting even worse. I believe it's time to short altcoins again. Most altcoins underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum over the long term. We've seen the same now for those 3 AI coins. Why try to pick the one winner? Why try to pick the needle in the haystack when overall most coins tend to do worse? Why not simply just bet on falling prices? It's a bit more complex of a topic, but I believe it puts the odds in our favor. I'm looking for a lot of short opportunities, and I am shorting, for example, this asset over here. I'm not declaring what asset this exactly is. At least I don't do this here in the public channel. I do share this though in the premium membership. So if you want to short this asset here, right? If you want to make money when this chart continues to go down, feel free to check out premium. If you put roughly $3,000 in this short, which you can open in Web3 directly on chain, if you put in $3,000, you should be able to get your money back. If you got value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. If your crypto portfolio isn't yet large enough for premium, there's also a free Telegram group. Feel free to check that out. Link is as well down below. Looking forward to seeing you there.